Hello there, my name is Emily, and I'm so happy to share my English writing journey with you today. 6 years ago, I was just like many of you, a beginner who felt lost when trying to write in English. Now, I can write emails, stories, and even work reports with confidence. Writing in English has opened so many doors in my life. When I started learning English, I lived in a small town where few people spoke English. I studied it in school but could barely write a simple sentence. Today, I work for an international company where I use English every day. My writing skills helped me get this job and connect with people around the world. My journey from beginner to confident writer wasn't always easy. I made many mistakes along the way, but with time, practice, and the right methods, I improved step by step. Now I want to share what worked for me so you can improve too. When I first started writing in English, I was so afraid of making mistakes. I would spend hours trying to write just one paragraph. My vocabulary was limited, and I often couldn't find the right words to express my thoughts. I felt like I was climbing a very tall mountain without proper gear. Learning to write well in English is like learning to ride a bike. At first, you wobble and fall. You might get some bruises, but if you keep getting back on that bike, one day you'll ride smoothly. The key is to never stop trying. I used to feel bad about my mistakes. Then one day, my English teacher said something I'll never forget. Your mistakes are your best teachers. This changed how I thought about errors. Instead of hiding from them, I started to learn from them. Each mistake showed me what I needed to work on next. My big turning point came when I started a blog about my hobbies. I was nervous about sharing my writing online, but I did it anyway. A few weeks later, I got my first comment from someone in Canada. They understood my post and even asked questions. That moment showed me that I could actually communicate through my writing, even with mistakes. It gave me the confidence to keep going. When I began improving my writing, I started with very simple texts. Children's books and short stories were perfect. They use basic words and simple sentences that are easy to understand and copy. After feeling comfortable with simple texts, I moved to slightly harder material. I read easy news articles, then magazines, and finally novels. Each step was a little harder than the last, but not too hard to make me give up. Repetition was key to my progress. I would write the same types of texts many times. For example, I practiced writing emails for a week. Then I moved to descriptions of people for another week. This repeated practice helped my brain remember patterns in English writing. I also found it helpful to copy texts from native English writers. I would read a paragraph from a book or article, then try to rewrite it in my own words. This helped me learn good sentence structures and new vocabulary in a natural way. I made writing an English part of my daily life. I kept a small notebook with me and wrote down thoughts, shopping lists, or things I saw during the day. Just a few sentences each day added up to big improvements over time. Creating an English environment around me was very important. I changed my phone language to English. I put sticky notes with English words on objects around my house. I followed English social media accounts about topics I enjoyed. All these small changes meant I was thinking in English more often. Reading widely helped my writing improve faster. When you read, you see how good writers use words and build sentences. I tried to read something in English every day, even if it was just for 10 minutes. What kinds of things do you enjoy reading? Maybe start there in English. I also joined online writing groups where members share their writing and give feedback to each other. Getting comments from others helped me see mistakes I couldn't spot myself. Plus, reading other learners' writing showed me I wasn't alone in my struggles. Feeling like your writing isn't good enough can be very discouraging. I felt this way many times. What helped me was focusing on progress, not perfection. I kept my old writing samples and looked at them when I felt down. Seeing how far I had come always made me feel better. To build confidence, I started by writing about topics I knew well. Writing about my favorite hobby or my hometown was easier because I already had the ideas. I just needed to find the English words. As my confidence grew, I tried more challenging topics. It's important to have realistic expectations. No one becomes a great writer overnight. I learned to celebrate small wins using a new word correctly, writing a clear paragraph, or getting positive feedback. Think about your own small wins in English writing. What progress have you noticed recently? I also learned that everyone, even native English speakers, has to edit their writing. First drafts are never perfect. Understanding this took a lot of pressure off me. I could write freely first, then go back and fix mistakes later. Setting small, achievable goals worked wonders for my motivation. Instead of saying, I want to write perfectly, I set goals like, I will write for 15 minutes every day, or I will learn 5 new transition words this week. These small goals gave me regular wins to celebrate. Celebrating progress is so important. When I reached a goal, I would reward myself with something small, maybe a special coffee or time to watch my favorite show. These celebrations kept me motivated to continue. How do you like to celebrate your achievements? I developed a positive mindset about mistakes. Instead of thinking, I'm so bad at this, I trained myself to think, I'm still learning. When I made a mistake, I would write it down in a special notebook along with the correction. This turned errors into valuable learning tools. Finding a writing partner or group provided accountability and support. My friend and I would send each other short texts in English every few days. Knowing someone was waiting for my writing pushed me to keep practicing, even on days when I didn't feel like it. Being able to write well in English is truly life-changing. It has helped me express my thoughts, connect with people globally, and advance in my career. The skills you're building now will serve you in countless ways in the future. Learning to write in English is like building a magnificent structure. You lay the foundation, learn basic vocabulary, add bricks one by one, daily practice, strengthen weak points, correct mistakes, and with time and dedication, a beautiful building emerges your improving skills. The structure requires regular maintenance, but the result is worth every effort. Imagine yourself a year from now, writing emails confidently, expressing your ideas clearly, or maybe even starting a blog in English. Picture the pride you'll feel when someone compliments your writing, or when you help a fellow English learner with their questions. Remember that learning is a lifelong journey. There will be ups and downs, but each step takes you forward. The fact that you're reading this shows you have the motivation to improve. That's the most important ingredient for success. Thank you for letting me share my story with you today. I'd love to know which method you plan to try first. Will you start a daily writing habit, join a writing group, or perhaps create more English in your environment? Whatever you choose, start today. Even 5 minutes of practice can be the beginning of your success story. How many stars would you give your current English writing skills? Think about it for a moment. Now, imagine how many stars you could have in 6 months with regular practice. Today, pick just one method I've mentioned and try it for 5 minutes. Small steps lead to big changes over time.